Wrestling season is officially underway, and you're probably asking yourself this question: what weight class should I wrestle this year? Well, have no fear, because Jacko Attacko is going to help you answer that question right about now. When it comes to deciding which weight class that you want to wrestle for the upcoming season, there are two philosophies to consider. Philosophy number one essentially is, I want to cut a lot of weight for a size advantage over my opponents. Pretty much, I want to drop a lot of weight so that I'm bigger than the wrestlers that I'm going to be competing against. Obviously, the advantage to this philosophy is that you have a size advantage. You're walking around at a natural weight that is significantly greater than a majority of your opponents. However, it's important to keep in mind, this isn't new. You're not the only one that's going to be doing this. So yes, while you may have a size advantage over some of your opponents, a lot of your competition could be following the same philosophy and be the same natural weight you are, so that you're going to be sparring against someone your own size, just at a lower weight class. The disadvantage to this philosophy is that you're going to compete at less than 100% of your energy level. I don't care how good you are at cutting weight, your body is not going to get the replenishment it needs in a wrestling season. Wrestling's the hardest sport there is. You're going to be practicing 2 to 3 hours a day. You're going to be doing extra workouts, and you're going to be eating small portions, skipping meals, whatever you need to do to make weight. And you're not going to be 100%. So you got to keep that in mind. You're going to be at, maybe it's 70 one day, maybe it's 85% of your potential energy capabilities when you're making these sacrifices cutting weight. On the other hand, philosophy number two essentially says, I'm going to wrestle my natural weight. I'm not going to cut weight at all. The advantage here is that you're going to be competing at 100% energy level, because you can replenish your body, you can rehydrate yourself, eat and drink whatever you want, essentially, because you don't have to waste that time or energy stressing about having to make weight. The disadvantage for this philosophy is that you're going to be having guys who are dropping down from a higher weight class down to your weight. So they may be bigger, they may be stronger, they're going to be a little less tired, but that's the trade-off. So which philosophy is best? Which philosophy is best for you? Well, there's really no right or wrong answer, but I'm going to go through each one of them, having experience doing both at the high school and collegiate level. I'm going to give you my recommendations and share my experiences on which strategy, which philosophy is best for you, and then you can take that information and decide for yourself. In my experience, cutting weight at the high school level is a big, huge detriment to the sport itself. It is an important aspect because it teaches discipline and sacrifice. However, a lot of high schoolers don't know how to cut weight correctly. And if you're struggling to cut weight, check out this video that I created some time ago on the do's and do nots on cutting weight. You'll find some interesting, helpful tidbits in there if you're looking to cut weight the smart way, the right way. I personally believe at the high school and lower level of wrestling, you should not cut more than 10 pounds of your natural body weight. Now, you're going to naturally lose weight throughout the season. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking 10 additional pounds that you're gonna have to do, whether it's extra runs, extra conditioning, skipping meals, dieting, whatever it may be. Once you get to that 10-pound threshold, you're going to start seeing diminishing results on this philosophy. Sure, cutting weight to a lower weight class has its advantages. You could be bigger and stronger than your opponent at a good enough energy level so that you can wrestle to your abilities. However, as soon as you start getting to a certain weight, and I cap it at 10 pounds, guys. Maybe it's a little bit different for you. Maybe it's 15, maybe it's only 7 pounds. Whatever that is, set a threshold and stick to it. Especially because at the high school level, you want to make this sport fun. Wrestling is not your entire life. I know it may seem like wrestling is everything and you do everything because you love the sport and wrestle, but it's a very small aspect of your life. Think of life in the grand scheme of things. Wrestling is just going to be a small nugget of that. At least wrestling competitively is going to be a small nugget of that. You want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for your future. And once you start cutting excessive weight, it's going to start affecting your results in the classroom, your relationships. You're going to start doing bad in school. And that stuff is not worth sacrificing a few extra pounds just to get a size advantage over an opponent. I personally believe if you are a skilled enough wrestler, it truly does not matter what weight class you go. The advantage of wrestling your natural body weight, maybe it's a little bit higher than you should be wrestling, but the advantage to that is that at the high school level, the level of competition drops the higher weight classes you go. Specifically, the depth, the player pool in the higher weight classes of wrestling in high school is severely lower than the lower weights. Because think about it, most high school kids weigh in that maybe 120 to 160 pound range. Once you start getting over 200 pounds, over 180 pounds, you're gonna start seeing less and less athletic, physically mature kids. Because guess what, you guys, you are kids, you're still growing. So let your body evolve, let your body grow and fill into that natural weight class. The competition pool is going to be worse off. So that's another trade-off when considering which weight class to wrestle this year. At the collegiate level, things are a little different because all weight classes are equally as stacked. There is no weak weight class. Everyone at the collegiate level is a beast. So if you're deciding which weight class I want to go at the collegiate level, well, I would recommend more so on cutting extra weight rather than wrestling your natural weight, because you're going to need that size advantage. You're going to need every ounce of strength that you can get, because any disadvantage that you have against someone at the collegiate level is going to be really hard to overcome. Before all you high schoolers, middle schoolers, and below, I really recommend capping it at 10 pounds, okay? 10 pounds, that should be your limit of cutting weight. If you're walking around 170, the lowest you should go is 160 for the season. This is a sport, it's supposed to be fun. Wrestling is very hard. Making weight on top of wrestling is even harder, and some people really like that. They like the challenge, they like the grind, they love everything about it. But you guys are still growing into your bodies. Don't disrupt that too much. You're gonna start seeing diminishing results the more weight you cut after that threshold of 10 pounds. For those of you who are in a situation where you have a teammate who is in a wrestling class that you just can't beat, and your only opportunity to start on the team is to go a certain weight class where you're dropping excessive weight. Think about that for a second, okay? Maybe that's your only opportunity, and that's fine, but do it correctly, do it smart. Follow my do's and do nots of cutting weight. But if there is an opportunity, maybe if you go up a weight class at your natural weight, maybe you can knock off the person at the upper weight. You're going to be wrestling at 100%. The competition is likely going to be sucking a lot of weight, so you'll have an advantage there. And you're going to be overall just happier. Wrestling is actually a pretty fun sport when you don't have to worry about weight classes, especially when you're bumping up a weight class, because you're going to be a lot faster than your opponent. Speed kills in wrestling. Sometimes strength overcomes speed, but that's the decision that you guys have to make. So once again, I think that at the high school level, maximum 10 pounds that you should be cutting. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments section below. I'd love to help you guys out. I'd love to hear your feedback. And good luck this season. I hope you're able to make weight and you're going to be having a great season and having fun doing it. Until next time, I'll see you then.